Welcome to How You Livin', a transformative podcast featuring best-selling author, inspirational speaker, and minister, Dr. Rick Rigsby. And now, Dr. Rick.
Hello, friends. Thanks so much for joining us. What are your expectations for today? No, really. What do you think you want to accomplish this day? Have you ever thought about that? And how are you going to accomplish what you want? You see, our brains are wired to have goals each and every day. But how do you reach that goal? I believe it's through expectations. I'm sure most of us have goals. Goals are aspirational. They aspire us to reach a higher level. Goals are targets that we strive to hit. Expectations help us reach those goals. Expectations are the habits and the actions that help us get where we need to go. They're things that we expect to occur. Listen to this, friends. If we reach our goal just 50% of the time, that's phenomenal. A Hall of Fame induction awaits most Major League Baseball players with a batting average of 300 or above. And while the goal is to get a hit at each and every at-bat, you only need 3 hits out of every 10 at-bats to hit 300. The expectation is the batter will be focused. The batter will do his best. The batter will battle the pitcher and will not back down. Goals inspire us to achieve. Expectations offer the action steps for achievement. Our focus today in this podcast is on expectations. Expectations give us simple habits. They offer us a code of conduct. Expectations offer a pathway to reach our goals. Now, while the goal is the finish line, expectations help us reach the finish line in the right way. You might look at expectations as our daily actions, our attitudes and practices that get us to our goal. And if we set clear expectations for the day, we should never expect to deviate from the course of accomplishing our goal. Let me explain why this is important. We all experience difficult moments throughout the day, challenging phone calls, a disagreement with someone. You're driving along minding your own business when someone else experiences road rage, and the next thing you know, they're blaring their horn at you. These scenarios are upsetting. But what if your goal is to be a joyful and a peaceful person? This is what you do. First, set the expectation. I will not allow others to affect my joy and peace today. Second, determine before leaving the house what your response will be, what your attitude will be, and what your action will be, regardless of what is said or what happens to you. Regardless of what happens, I'm going to breathe today. I'm not going to immediately react in an emotive way. I'm going to challenge myself to think the best, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the situation. And I'm going to determine that my action will be in the best interest of all parties involved. Now, friends, allow me a personal confession. A weakness that I have is allowing the stresses of others to affect me. And I have a wife who is the exact opposite. She functions above the fray, and it absolutely amazes me. We've talked about this for years. My wife's simple daily goal is this: others will not affect my well-being. As such, her expectations lead and guide every single decision she makes, from her attitude to her response to the actions that she chooses. The goal, in other words, that's the finish line. The expectations help you reach the finish line. Here's a homework assignment for you. What is your goal in life? I want you to really think about that. What is your goal in life? And while most of us, we don't have a problem answering that question, what if I were to ask you this question? What are your daily expectations that will guide you to reaching your goal. You see, expectations determine your attitude, your response, and your actions, all required to help you stay on the right path. This is what I've decided. No matter what happens to me today, my expectations must be my joy and my peace are going to be worked out in a systematic way. I'm going to take action steps. I'm going to take attitude steps. I'm going to take response steps that will help me to reach one particular goal. What is that goal? No one is going to affect my peace. No one is going to affect my joy. And so as a result, my attitude is going to remain positive as best I can. My response will not be emotive or reactive as much as possible. My actions will be in the best interest of all parties as often as possible. Now, let me be clear, this doesn't always work. Sometimes I won't reach my goal of not allowing the stresses of others to affect me in a negative way. But remember, there are a lot of people in baseball's Hall of Fame who struck out a lot, but somehow managed to get 3 hits out of every 10 at-bats. You see, friends, contrary to what our society might say, the goal of life is consistency, not perfection. The goal in life is improvement, not exactness. And can you possibly imagine not having daily expectations to guide our thoughts and our words and our habits and our responses and our actions? Gosh, I'd never reach my goal. There would never be any peace. I would never have any joy. I'm talking expectations today for a couple of reasons. First of all, I truly desire to improve my life, and you don't improve when you're shackled by allowing the stresses of others to affect you. And here's the second reason. I came across a story recently that brought expectations into clear focus. It's a sad story, but it makes my point. Recently, there was a shooting at a Dallas hospital. A nurse and a social worker were both shot to death. Here's the story. A woman had given birth to a baby. Her boyfriend allegedly came into her hospital room and assaulted her. Unaware of what was going on in the hospital room, a nurse and a social worker entered the room to check on the new mother. That's when they both were shot to death. The suspect has been charged with capital murder. The social worker was Jacqueline Pakua. Jacqueline was a single mom from Ghana in West Africa. She came to the United States to attend school. She actually earned a master's degree in social work a couple of years ago, all while raising her son, Nigel. During the funeral, Jacqueline was remembered as a person who just loved everybody. There was a portion of the funeral service where her 12-year-old son, Nigel, stood up and read a letter to his mother. A part of that letter really spoke to me. In part, Nigel said, "I promise you, I'm going to live your expectations for me. I only ask of you, Mom, to keep watch over me while you're in heaven, for I will be needing that always." Oh, may God be with you, young Nigel, who now goes through life without his mom. But Nigel's words have remained in my heart with a piercing familiarity. Nigel's goal? Honor Mom. Nigel's expectations? I will honor her always by living right daily, by acting right, by being good, by doing good. The example of a 12-year-old young man has gripped my heart. I remember after hearing that story, I prayed this prayer. Dear Jesus, I promise to live your expectations of me today. I only ask that you keep watch over me from heaven as I walk in a manner pleasing to you. Amen. Nigel's goal is to honor his mom. Nigel's expectations reflect his attitude, his actions, and responses. And those expectations push him daily toward the finish line of achieving his goal. My question is simply this: what is your ultimate goal in life? And what are you doing today to help you reach that finish line? May our inspiration be 12-year-old Nigel, who fully expects to live in a manner that honors his departed mom. Well, friends, that's going to do it for this episode. Until we meet again, this is Dr. Rick, asking the most important question I can ask. How you living?
Are you ready to make an impact in your world right now? Do you want to stop existing and start living your best life right now? Dr. Rick wants to give you the first chapter of his best-selling book, Lessons from a Third Grade Dropout, absolutely free. Just go to www.rickrigsby.com/free gift to get the print or audiobook right now.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.